This is how you can live any reality that you want, any reality that you choose. And it does not matter what you have lived, what has been happening, that is so irrelevant. And this video is going to shift how you think about your life and the things that you want to manifest. Hello, my beautiful people. Welcome back to my channel. I'm Juliette Cleary. I'm a manifestation coach. And if you resonate with this message, make sure to like this video and subscribe and tap that bell icon. If you would like to work together, that information's in the description box below, as well as the link to my meditation channel. So if you're interested in that, make sure to subscribe. We often hold on to negative thoughts, beliefs, and limitations of our current situation, not understanding how it can change. How, right? Isn't that the biggest thing? I've had this body or this problem, this illness, this, issue with my specific person or issue with money for the longest time. How can it change? The reason why it can be drastically different and can change is because when you do change, you move to a timeline or a parallel reality where there's a different story going. There's a different movie playing. It's a different version of you. It's a different version of your world. It's not the same world you were living in. You are the reality. You are consciousness. You are reality, not out there. Outside of you, including your body, outside of you are projections of you, of your consciousness. You are the I am. You are God. You are source. It's all going on within you and projected out. When you change within yourself, it's not just like, oh yeah, people start changing. Nothing changes on the reality that you're in right now, the timeline that you're on right now. Nothing changes. You move, you shift to a different parallel reality, a different time. Things are different. People in your life are different. You attract different versions of them. And I know I went over this in another video, but I want to go into it a little more deeply. You place limitations within your mind, which are blocking the manifestations from revealing themselves, which are preventing you from moving to that new timeline because you're so hung up on how can this be different when it's not going to be different. It's a new person, it's a new relationship, it's a new career, it's a new opportunity, it's a new body. It's a new body. You're not changing the old body. You gravitate to the timeline where you have the new body and it starts to change to match up with that new frequency, the person that you became, the frequency that you embodied. Especially when it comes to, you're a specific person, right? And you're wanting to manifest a change in them or for them to contact you or want to be with you or whatever it is. You must understand that when you change and you move to a different time, a different reality, that they're not the same person they were. So it's not like, oh, all of a sudden they're showing up differently. No, they're a different version now. They're a different version of themselves. They don't necessarily even have the same past. When you move to that new reality, because you're consistently making the new choices, you don't have the same past that you did. Sometimes you will pick up that past that something you went through, something that was upsetting, something that's not working for the longest time. You'll pick up that negative story of the past, even like childhood things that you went through, and you'll keep carrying it with you and including it in the now, making it seem like it's still a part of who you are, or you've been conditioned because of that. And that's not really the way it works. You could let go of that, be free of that in any moment that you choose. You're the power. Now, what happens is called the Mandala Effect. I don't know if I said that correctly, but basically what happens when you really shift into becoming a new version of you. There have been many instances of people reporting that they remember their past differently. this person who's changed and living in a new, time has a completely different recollection, because technically they're living in a reality now where that past didn't necessarily happen. It didn't happen on that timeline. It happened on another timeline. And sometimes we pick up on that and we start to see the past in a vastly different way, or we feel detached from it, like it didn't even happen to us, or that it was years ago, even though it was maybe a couple of weeks ago. Or we just feel very like it was like a movie we watched. I've heard of many people talking about that, and I experienced that myself in 2020. I disconnected from my old life and it didn't even feel like it happened to me. Now, again, why is this so important? It's because a lot of times we hold away our manifestations because we keep bringing the past into things. And I want you to know how irrelevant the past really is. Understand that you continuing to pick up the past or limit yourself, saying, I don't know how this could change. I don't know how they could be different. I don't know how I could get that money or that opportunity or whatever. The how is so irrelevant because it's all figured out on another timeline. Your job is to move to that timeline. When you remember someone in your mind, you remember how they've been that you don't prefer, or they haven't been contacting you, you don't like that, or it hasn't been ideal. The way you're remembering it in the moment, in and of itself, the memory is an imaginal act. The memory, you're sitting there and remembering it for whatever purpose, just because it's habit, or you want to justify how you're feeling, or you're telling the old story. But you're imagining it like that again, even if it's not happening right now, and it continues to show that to you. But you could imagine something else. You could remember it differently. If you remember it a little bit differently, or remember, actually, you know what, that's not exactly true. There was signs that they were, interested, or they did contact me a few times. Oh, they did do this. You're literally changing the past in the moment, in the now moment, that you're remembering it differently, because again, it's like an imaginal act. Whatever limitation that you think you have, you think that cannot be figured out, guess what? Maybe it can't be figured out on this reality, but there is a reality where it is figured out, where there's not even the need to try and think about the how or worry about this thing, because it's already done and you're already living it, and that is a fact. What has happened or has been happening is so irrelevant, and hopefully while you're watching this video, you give yourself permission to just let go a little more of telling the old story and of limiting yourself of how you think things can change. And you may think that this whole, shifting into a parallel reality is like this whoa moment or this big thing. But what I want you to know is that you are shifting in between all different parallel realities constantly throughout your day based on the choices that you're making. Like as soon as you let go of worrying about, an issue in your life, you immediately move into the state of the wish fulfilled. You've let go of worrying about it. Even moment by moment, what thought you choose about something, what assumption or definition you place on something, what emotions you're feeling, what you're choosing to believe about something, your actions, your behaviors. So that's why I say be very aware of the person you're being, of the personality, of the identity, moment by moment, because every tiny little choice is you shifting. And so when I say make consistent choices, for the most part, in the direction of who you want to be and the life you want to have, how you want to feel, you're more so shifting into this parallel reality, and that's what you will now live dominantly. Because like I said, the main way we block our manifestations from revealing themselves to us is by just constantly remembering the past, remembering what has been, remembering how things are, how people are, how co-workers are, how our relationships are, how the money is, how our body is or feels, right? We're just consistently remembering what has been. And so this is just a message to you to kind of back off of that a little bit, let that go. Start remembering differently, or start choosing differently. Who do I want to be? How do I want to feel? Let that be irrelevant, because the past truly is irrelevant. The past literally changes once you move to a different timeline, because in that timeline you would have had to have a different past in order to be that version of you. That's why people get so amazed when they manifest something and they see that the person is so different, or that circumstance is so different, or this person has completely changed their mind. Oh, they do want to sell me the house or whatever, because you're in a new time. Of course, things are different. So don't limit people or events or circumstances thinking that they can't be as you want them to be. Don't need them to be different. Don't need to change them in order for you to feel better. But don't limit yourself thinking, I don't know how, so I guess it just can't happen. And remembering that you're creating reality. Reality is you. And that you can choose it to be any way that you want it to be. And so stop pushing against and fighting against the past and what has been and that old story. Stop trying to fix and change things and people, because they don't need to be changed and they don't need to be fixed. Whether it's a person, or whether it's something with your work or your business, whether it's something in your body or your physical appearance, you got to stop trying to fix it and just go to the state of the wish fulfilled, like not worrying about it so much, not placing so much importance on what has been, because what has been is going to be, again, so irrelevant. Know it. Just know that it's done and move on with your life, and stop carrying the weight of things that you think have gone so wrong, or that can't be changed, or you got to worry about it, or you got to fix it. You can let that go. Make more decisions that reflect who you want to be and the reality that you want to live in. Seriously, what's the worst that can happen if you start to just choose to show up as you want to show up, to feel how you want to feel, to think and act how you want to think and act to the best of your ability right now? To let go of the problem and let the universe handle it, right? So you can shift into the frequency, into the reality where it's all done and it's all solved and you don't have to worry about it anymore. As soon as you make that new choice in the moment, what you want is automatically in place. You're aligned with it. You're on the timeline of it. From the here and now, you change the past and the future. It's all happening simultaneously now. But from what you decide now and how you choose to perceive something or assume something or to feel now changes the past and changes the future. So stop holding on to the past or the limitations of what you think this reality can show to you. It's not going to be the same reality. They're not going to be the same person. You're not going to be the same person. Things are going to start moving in different ways because you're in a different time. If you did enjoy this, make sure to give this video a thumbs up, comment down below, let me know what you thought, and subscribe if you haven't already. If you'd like to work together, that information's in the description box below. Thank you for being here. Have a great day, and I'll see you next time.